You can listen to the Canadian Gothic early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Include it with Prime.
The two men themselves are father and son, and it's unclear just how many children they have. The Nouveau Info documentary put the number between the two of them around 550.
People are literally borrowing books from the library, reading those books on their bed at night till they fall asleep. And if that bed is a victim of bed bugs, that book is now going to be a victim of bed bugs.
Just listening to you guys on Spotify, and I seen that one of the founders of Cove Soda is messaging you on there. So you should probably go and check it out.
You are listening to Keep Canada Weird.
Handsome Aaron Airport. We're going to start the show a little different this week. I went behind your back. I've made some connections. And I found a way that we can have a sort of olive branch meeting of the minds between Keep Canada Weird and the people at Cove Soda. Let me ask you right now, Aaron, if I can get them on the line and get a conversation going between both sides of this situation, will you talk to them?
Well, we're 1 week into our official boycott of Cove Soda. So much damage has been done. So many bridges have been burnt. And it's almost feels impossible to imagine those bridges being rebuilt at this point after everything that I and you and our listeners have been through over this issue. So I think it would be foolish of me to not at least entertain whatever it is that you're thinking of right now.
I've made it possible that if you choose to, if you want to, and I'm for it, I'll do it. But if you don't want to do it, I support you there as well. I've made it so that if we want to, we can get on a phone call. I got a phone number for someone at Cove, and we can talk to them. And if it doesn't go to your way, we can hang up. We can continue with the boycott. But maybe we can work something out and we can get back to doing what we're supposed to be doing. The name of this show is Keep Canada Weird, and that's what we want to do. I get it. Like, we're both hurt that we didn't get an email back, and maybe we just need to tell them that.
Well, I'll say this. I will do it, but not for them. I'm going to do it for you. You have obviously gone through some hoops to achieve whatever it is, whatever contacts you have at Cove now. I'm not going to consider that a stab in my back that you've done. So out of respect for you and the hard work that we do together in the years we spent together keeping Canada weird, yes, I will do it. I will listen, but there's absolutely zero guarantees no matter what happens, no matter what you have here. I can't guarantee that any boycotts will be lifted.
Okay, let me make the call.
Hello?
Hi, is Ryan? Is this Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Ryan. Who am I speaking?
This is Jordan from the Keep Canada Weird podcast. We were writing earlier. You got a few minutes to talk?
Yes, I do. Jordan, yes, I was expecting to talk to you and get a call.
Good. I'm glad to get you on the line. I have Aaron on the line with us as well. You want to say hi, Aaron?
Hey, Ryan. I'll just say hi.
Okay. Let's stay cool, guys. Just so we know what we're getting into, I want us to all just get to know each other a bit better. So why don't we just start with this, Ryan? Listeners of the show know Aaron and I, but they don't know who we're talking to. Why don't you introduce yourself to the Keep Canada Weird listeners?
Yes, I'm Ryan McClellan. I'm the founder of Cove Soda, and I've heard there's been some drama in the Keep Canada Weird podcast, so I've come on the phone here just to spill the soda, as you will.
Yeah, we're going to bury this. It's all going to be some soda under the bridge. But Ryan, just so we know more about Cove Soda, like I've only learned about it actually through Aaron about a year and a half ago. He introduced your product to us on this show. But why don't you give us the history? Tell us about Cove Soda. I understand you started around 2017.
Yes, that is absolutely true. So we started in 2017. It was in my mother's kitchen where we first started. We were brewing kombucha. I was brewing it myself. And my brother came down one weekend, so I decided I would share that kombucha with him. And anyways, he tried it and thought, well, we should sell this at the farmer's market. So 3 weeks later, we were at the farmer's market with 12 bottles of kombucha. We sold out by noon, and we knew we were on to something. So fast forward 10 years from there, here we are selling soda, nationwide in the States and in Canada. And, we're pursuing our dream, and it's a lot of fun.
And it's you and your brother?
Me and my brother own it. We call ourselves founders at this point because we have, now that we've taken on investment money, because to grow the company in beverage, it's capital intensive. So we've had some amazing investors come in, offer their money up for part of the company, so they could join in on the journey, and they could help us realize our dream.
In which you said you were selling it at a market. Was this at like the farmer's market in Halifax?
Yes, the Seaport Halifax Farmers Market.
Now, Aaron, I don't know if you want to weigh in at this part, but is any of this exciting you? Is this changing your opinion of anything?
In terms of my opinion, it's interesting to hear this background. It certainly adds a lot of credibility to the Cove name, I think, to know these details. But Cove's background is not the issue at hand here. So that's really, at this point in time, unfortunately, it's irrelevant to how I feel.
Okay, well, let's dig a bit deeper. Ryan, why don't you walk us through maybe some of, like, if you had to think of the milestones, the biggest moments in Cove's history. The first one is going to be 2017. You're in your mom's kitchen. You decided to make kombucha and share it with your brother. What are some other milestones?
Yeah, that's a great one. I would say the next big one was getting our first restaurant, and it was called the Foggy Goggle in Halifax. Took our product. Yeah. And then the next big milestone was Sobeys taking it, which was a super big change for us, which allowed us to plug into bigger production. Instead, I used to bottle each one by hand. I'd be in the back of a dingy restaurant, and it felt very natural at the time. But now that I look back, I'm very thankful that phase is over.
At what point is it that it ends up in Target? Because that must be a big deal.
It happens one brick at a time. One thing just leads to the next, and the vision slowly changes. And about a year and a half ago, we found ourselves in a small Target-specific trade show. And the buyer for Target came to our booth and took a sip. And just like you guys, he immediately tasted, the deliciousness of Cove that tempts you every time you put it in your fridge. Even when there's a boycott, you want to go grab one. And so he knew that it was special, and he took a chance on us. So we're very thankful for our buyer for supporting us through that.
And that gets us pretty close to present day in Cove's history. But now let me tell you about the part of the history that you don't know. And this is probably the darker part of Cove's story. For Keep Canada Weird, it all starts just a little over a year ago. It was in episode number 159 that Aaron first introduced Cove Soda to me and to all the listeners of Keep Canada Weird. And this was actually in the very beginning of our special drink segment, Aaron. Something important's going to happen now. You told me just before I hit go, I actually have a special drink tonight. So I'm going to invite you to blow my damn mind with what you got in a cup.
Okay. I have a Cove Soda.
Ooh.
Ginger ale.
Ooh, Cove is, I think, a local company, right?
Yeah, it's a Nova Scotia soda. It is sugar-free, and according to their website, all of their sodas are caffeine-free as well.
Interesting.
Dying to try it, so here we go. I'm going to crack it open. Oh, it's different.
Different in a good way? Like something new and exciting, or different like...
Yeah, it is. It is exciting, actually.
Okay. So that's how we're first introduced to Cove. My next personal experience with Cove was not long after that. I was in Chicago filming a documentary, actually. And on my way there, I stopped at Target to grab a drink. What do I see on the shelf? but a Cove soda. And I was like, whoa, Aaron said they're local. What are they doing here at Target in Illinois? And when I looked on the can, I saw Halifax, Nova Scotia on there, where I'm from. So, of course, I bought one. And that is about the time that I fell in love with Cove. After that point, it seemed every week, every second week, either Aaron or I would have a Cove soda to unveil at the beginning of our show during our special drink segment. But that's where things get complicated. We're getting messages from listeners saying, you have a great thing going with Cove. You're always talking about them. They come from Halifax. You come from Halifax. You guys should connect with them in some way. And that brings us to deciding to reach out. I sent emails. Aaron sent emails. I'm going to play you a bit of the birth of the boycott. This is going back to episode 202. Here's how the boycott starts.
Well, I'm happy for you that you're enjoying your special drink. I'm very conflicted about my special drink tonight. I have a Cove soda. It is grape flavored. Currently delicious, but maybe not for much longer because Jordan and I have been off and on drinking Cove soda quite frequently when we record and having them as special drinks and featuring them on the show and talking about how much we love Cove soda. And over this period of time, we did reach out to them to educate them on what we're doing here. We are spreading the good word about Cove soda all over the world and have heard nothing back from them. So I did hint at this last week that I'm only giving Cove soda another short amount of time. If they don't reach out to us, this is going to turn into a boycott.
How long do they got?
So Cove soda has until March 4th.
Okay.
Then officially we'll be launching the Cove soda boycott. And it's not what I want to do. It's unfortunately what we have to do.
And just to be clear, this isn't a financial or even like a marketing collaboration.
All they would have to do is just respond. Not even a thank you. Just, we acknowledge your existence.
So that is where it begins. That's the lead up to the deadline of March 4th, which brings us to the position that we're in now. We're in the middle of a boycott. Have you noticed a big drop off actually in sales since the 4th? Or do you not have the numbers in yet?
You know what? The numbers are coming in soon, so I'm a little worried.
Okay. Because it has gotten serious. We have listeners all over Canada, the U.S., and beyond that are taking part in this boycott, and some of them are performing what I've referred to as acts of activism. I want to play one such because we have someone, his name is Sean. We knighted him thanks to some of the work he's done on this Cove soda file. He appeared on the show because he actually made some calls and managed to connect with what he described as simply as Cove soda. But I think there's more to this. I'm just going to play a segment of a voicemail that Sean sent us. We aired this a few weeks back.
I was just listening to your episode, and I couldn't believe that Cove soda hadn't replied to you guys as of yet. They don't want to boycott. That's ridiculous. So I looked up Cove soda phone. I found number 902. Left a voicemail, and 10 minutes later, got a call back from a very nice guy named Ryan. Seems like a very small business, and he seemed to think that somebody was on it. Hopefully, he'll follow up, and everything will be okay, because I'd like your relationship with Cove to flourish.
Do you recognize that voice, Ryan?
Yes, I do.
So how did that happen?
Vancouver. He's called me a few times now.
I had when I heard that voicemail, I assumed it was some new employee at an office named Ryan who was talking on your behalf. Sean somehow managed to reach the owner of Cove Soda.
Yeah.
How did this happen? And what did you think when you got this call?
Well, actually, I got a screenshot from my brother saying, "Here's this guy from Vancouver. Here's his number. Call him back." And, I always, call people back. So I thought, let's have some fun. I'm going to call this guy. And very nice. And he informed me about this boycott. And I thought to myself, boycott? What is this? What is this, Sean? So I'm a little shocked. And I immediately, want to inquire what's going on about it. So it turns out that our marketing team Yes, it is true. Didn't respond back to you, and I'm not sure why, to be honest, 100%. But we get a lot of calls these days, and a lot of, inquiries. So we're very busy, and we have a very small team. So I'm sure it just slipped through the cracks, and we owe you guys an apology for that. So
Okay.
live on air, we're sorry.
Did you hear that, Aaron?
Yeah. And, I'm kind of hanging back right now, just taking everything in and listening. And certainly that apology, it's affected me because this journey is more than just the 2 weeks of threatening a boycott. This has been my journey in search of sugar-free and caffeine-free drinks to have in my general life, because I'm off caffeine and I try to stay off sugar as much as possible. That's a journey in its own. And when I came across Cove Soda, I felt like it had really filled a void in my life. I felt I've enjoyed pizza a lot more now that I have a really delicious caffeine-free, sugar-free, local Canadian and Nova Scotian soda pop to drink. So this apology certainly is resonating with me, and I apologize if I'm getting emotional over it. But
It's not just, I don't want to interrupt you here, Aaron, but it's not just you that's having some heavy feelings about this. I want to place one last voicemail, because the situation between Cove Soda and Keep Canada Weird is not just affecting you, not just affecting me, not just affecting our listeners, and not just affecting Ryan, who spent all this time growing this business. It's also affecting people in Cove Soda's inner circle. Listen to this.
Hi there. My name is Ralph from Toronto, Nova Scotia. And one of my best friends is actually the founder of Cove Soda. Hopefully you can square it all away. Feeling a bit of contention between one of my favorite podcasts and one of my best friends. So I hope it can all get sorted out in the long run.
Do you recognize that voice, Ryan?
Yes, that is one of my oldest friends, Ralph Clark from Toronto.
Okay. He went to bat for you, just like many of our listeners went to bat for us. And that's what brings us here. Initially, this boycott and this whole mess was Aaron simply wanted to be acknowledged. I think you've done that. Somehow along the way, Aaron changed the goalpost and he wanted free pop. We're now sitting here with a whole bunch of Cove Soda that you were generous enough to send to us and allow us to celebrate in our special drink segments. We've yet to open any. And that's because of the boycott that we implemented on the 4th of March. So I want to pass it to you, Aaron. Given everything we've heard tonight, is there any chance we can bury the hatchet, lift the boycott, and maybe the three of us can crack a Cove Soda?
So I would like to officially here on Keep Canada Weird accept Ryan's apology. And I would also like to offer an apology in return for the dust storm that we have kicked up here on Keep Canada Weird, and the obvious, what will become a dramatic decline in sales for at least a week period. For that, I would like to apologize that I went to the lengths that I did. And certainly hope that you accept that, Ryan. And with that, I would like to officially lift the boycott and bring Cove back into the Keep Canada Weird family.
Ryan, if you care to join us, we'd love to have you for our special drink segment. Why don't you go first? You have an unmarked can. What is that?
This is a future flavor that no one has tried yet. It's a collaboration with a popsicle brand. It is grape popsicle soda.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Are you able to crack it open and take a sip?
Whoa, this is exciting.
Absolutely. This is V14.
There. And you and your brother designed the flavors, right?
Yeah, I do all the flavors, and I've done that since day one. And I do all the packaging too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I love the art style. I have a layout of them behind me. I adore it. Aaron and I both have the same soda. Of the flavors you've sent, a standout for me has been the pink slushy.
Oh.
Which is a delicious, refreshing drink. Today was the warmest day in a long time here in Halifax. It's like a spring day. It would be a great day for a pink slushy. Let me take a sip. You got the same thing, Aaron?
I'm just cracking it right now. My first Cove in a couple of weeks, so I'm excited to try this new flavor. Here we go. Oh, feels good to be back.
I don't know if I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I want to name Cove the official drink of Keep Canada Weird for the next 10 weeks because you sent us 10 different flavors. So listeners out there, they're going to hear a lot of Cove, and I'm going to be tasting a lot of it. And I'm happy about that. I am a huge fan of Cove soda. And that's even aside from the fact that you're local, hyper local even. But Ryan, you're a busy guy running a major good for you soft drink company. Can't give you a whole lot of flexibility to be on podcasts defending your company against unreasonable people. So I know you got things to do. But before we get on with Keeping Canada Weird by exploring the week's weird news stories, why don't you tell us why people should drink Cove? Like what makes you unique and where they can get it at this point?
You know what? I would love to just tell you our mission right now. Our dream is to grow, an iconic soda company across North America. And right now, we're in fierce competition. And our competition is in mainly the States right now. And those would be competitors like Olipop and Poppy. And, they're great brands and they're big brands. And, we respect them. But, if anyone's listening to this podcast, and you go out and you drink a Cove and you love it, tell your friends, get behind the brand. It's a Canadian born, lots of love and passion and dedication has gone into this. So we'd be very thankful if you would go out and just have a Cove and share it with a friend.
The majority of people who buy it, where are they getting it?
A lot of Canadians buy it at Costco, Sobeys, Superstore, Loblaws. In the States, we have Target, we have Whole Foods, we have Whole Foods USA, Whole Foods Canada. We get rotations in Costco USA as well. And we have a big meeting this Friday, so cross our fingers for us, Walmart USA. So let's see how that goes.
Last question for you. How many cans of this have you sold in a year?
I would say north of 30 million at least.
Wow. And is this your first boycott?
This is our first, and I'm hoping it's our last because that put a lot of stress on me and my family this weekend.
Was there any point where you're receiving messages from your coworkers or whatnot where you're like, oh shit, like what did we get into?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did, and my wife was very concerned, and her friends were very concerned, and they thought, who are these lunatics trying to boycott a nice Canadian business? And I said to them, whoa, slow down. They're nice guys. They just feel hurt. So let's connect with them. It was just a misunderstanding. We can bury the hatchet in no time. So that's what I did, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, well, we're very thankful that you did. I know I am, and we're looking forward to moving ahead and getting back to promote Cove again. And yeah, I know there's a lot of weight off of my shoulders now. I can finally get some sleep tonight, so I'm looking forward to that.
I'm feeling so much better, Handsome Aaron Airport. You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Looking forward to trying all these different Cove flavors that we have now, some of them brand new that haven't even been released yet. And so that makes me feel good. It makes me feel special. And I think that I'm looking forward to what other adventures you and I are going to get up to in the future. This has been a...
I'm afraid to know, because this is a consumer complaint that was taken pretty far.
It was, but I think we can go further with the next one. It must happen organically. We don't want to force anything, but certainly I do look forward to see, what's next for us. And I'm looking forward to wishing Cove all the best with their meeting with Walmart
Yeah,
And
that's big news. Yeah, I got my fingers crossed for
yeah,
them.
hopefully that works out.
Let's get into it though. The past week has delivered a whole bunch of weird Canadian news stories, and I got a couple that I'm really excited to share with you. The best name I can think of for this segment is a segment of stories that prove that the world has gotten worse. You'll see what I mean. And I think you, without even playing these stories, I think you agree with me that the world has changed for the worse in so many ways. The next two stories are just going to illustrate in dramatic fashion two of those ways. Let's start with the interesting way that everything in terms of products that we buy and use have gotten worse. An HVAC company in Ontario recently launched a contest to find the oldest working furnace that's still heating someone's home. The entries in the contest revealed that there's a surprising number of aging machines that are still going strong. Here's the story of the search for the oldest furnace in the Durham region.
At this home in Bowmanville, the owner is getting a brand new furnace installed for free after winning a contest. Buttons Heating and Air Conditioning had the idea to find the oldest working furnace in Durham region.
We thought we'd try to find one lucky person with the oldest furnace out there to enjoy a new furnace.
There were plenty of entries. The fourth runner-up was a furnace 49 years old, third place 55 years old, and second place 60 years old. But the winner of the oldest working furnace was 69 years old. It took 4 people to get the hefty unit out of the house and into a van. Owner Doug Bothwell doesn't remember a time without it.
So this furnace has been here most of your life?
Maybe all my life, this furnace, yeah.
Bothwell says despite its age, it never gave his family any issues.
I don't recall us ever having any troubles whatsoever. Not one. Like it just ran and ran.
The new Daikin furnace he received should save him hundreds of dollars a year on his utility bills.
This is going to be significantly more efficient than that old beast he had. They're going to save a ton in hydro and significantly in gas as well.
Most new furnaces are expected to last 15 to 20 years with proper maintenance, but they use more electronics and sensors, making them harder to repair. Button says older models had fewer moving parts and were less likely to break down.
I guess it's one of those things, they don't build them like they used to, right? And it was purring like a kitten when we came here. I was just in shock, just the way it was still working.
Even though it was still heating his home and running smoothly, Bothwell says when offered a modern furnace, he had no thoughts of keeping the old one.
Not really, but, I can't complain about it all. I can't. Like, let's just hope this one's half as good. That'll be great.
Spoiler alert, it's not going to be half as good as your almost 70-year-old furnace. They should have just left that thing for another year to hit that milestone of a 70 years old. Nothing lasts 70 years nowadays. That thing, this is an interesting contest, but I have some big thoughts on it because I'm really into, stretching a dollar. But what do you think of this?
Well, it's conflicting because what they say, this new furnace is going to be so much more efficient. It's going to save him money on his heating bills and all of these things. But I just think that furnace that he had, that old one, would probably last forever because they're easier to fix, easier to maintain in terms of, their parts are much more replaceable and fixable. So I don't know what's better, to save on your energy costs or to never have to buy a new furnace ever.
Yeah, it's an interesting dilemma to be in. And it's also an interesting dilemma for the business that offered this contest or that organized this contest, because it's an HVAC company. Presumably their business is trying to get people to buy furnaces. When they start a contest to find the oldest furnace, they probably expected to find these sketchy, crappy, 40-ish, 30-year-old furnaces. And, then they could do a victory lap where they show this modern, amazing new furnace that the person's getting instead, and the person's all happy about it. But when you get one that's 69 years old, there's no one in their right mind who's going to watch this news story and be like, this great new furnace is going to last 69 years. Like, it just kind of demonstrates that the new version is going to suck compared to this whole thing. Maybe it's more efficient, but they don't make them like they used to. This thing this guy had was like a war machine. It was a tank they had to haul out of his basement.
Yeah, it's too bad because no matter what you buy now, you're lucky to get 5 years out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like a furnace, yeah, you'll probably get 15 years out of that. But like a dishwasher, you'll probably get 5, 10 years at the most. A computer, you'll probably get 3 years out of that at the most. It's it's a constant disposable replacing everything, and the money, like it's in the company's best interest to have you constantly replacing.
Yeah, because you get a new one, they're going to have to perform maintenance and warranty work on it in 3 years. When some plastic part, the whole thing relies on, cracks. And then 5 years after that, they're going to sell you a new one that's going to break down even quicker. That's one thing that drives me nuts about the world nowadays. It's how replaceable and made to fail it seems everything is, and how difficult to repair everything is. And it's both because it's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. You're uncertain when things are going to break down, and then it ends up in a landfill anyway. It's just a bunch of plastic junk. That's one thing, and I could rant about this all day, but so many like moving parts or main components of machines we buy now are made of like cheap plastic, where this 69-year-old furnace, any of what would be plastic components in your furnace now, in this thing were like cast iron and steel, built like a 1930s warship or something. And it's that's what bugs me. It bugs me bad. The house that I'm in now, I've only been here for 8 years. And I'm on my second. When we moved in, I bought like a brand new washer and dryer. We've already replaced those.
Oh, washer and dryers, you might as well. Yeah. There's no lifespan in a washer and dryer anymore. My God.
Yeah.
Cars too, like vehicles. Like there's so much. Your car has so many electronical parts now.
Did you say electronical?
Yeah, that's a new word. I'm workshopping.
You don't need the electronic.
I said it's a new word.
Oh, geez, sorry.
I will boycott you.
I am sure you would love it.
Yeah, because I have nothing to boycott right now, and I really enjoyed part of that, so now I have a void to fill. So electronical is a new word. Just because it's not in the dictionary doesn't make it not real.
It's another thing. We don't use dictionaries nowadays.
No. Well, dictionaries are made with plastic now, too, so they don't last either. So just like dictionaries, cars are the same. The electronic parts in them make it very difficult for backyard mechanics or just the regular person to be able to fix these things. So you might as well just replace it every 5 years.
Yeah. Imagine you're the car mechanic who's been working at the dealership for like 40 years. You're nearing retirement. When you would have started, it would have been basically like working on steam engines. And now I think if you're an auto mechanic, you're as much a computer technician as you are like a car mechanic. Cars now, especially like recently got a new car and it has electric features in terms of like hybrid engines and all this stuff. If you open the hood, it basically looks like a computer with car parts stuffed in there.
Yeah, it is. It's more. It's kind of like RoboCop. It's more where RoboCop is more machine than human, or is he more human than machine? That's the debate. And that's the thing with a car. It's more computer than car now. And
that's true.
Yeah.
But it connects to your phone through Bluetooth, and everybody loves that.
I love listening to podcasts in my car. And if I have to buy a $50,000 vehicle every 5 years, then so be it.
So be it. This segment, again, is evidence that things have gotten worse by way of weird Canadian news stories from the past week. We've just heard about how the 69-year-old furnace is replaced probably with one that's going to fail in 12 years. I must say, though, if it does fail quickly, I hope they do a follow-up news report. And I would kind of hate to see it. See this man, they're like, I never should have gave up that 69-year-old year thing. But anyway, we've heard how things aren't made like they used to. But something else that's changed, certainly for the worse, is libraries in Canada. I don't know if you've gone to a library lately, but there's much more going on there than people checking out books. Do you use a library?
Well, I'll get into that when we hash this out after the story.
Okay. Well, libraries have changed, and one of the many ways libraries have changed is on full display in this next story. Here's something I never thought I'd have to worry about. A historic Montreal area library has been closed this week for an unlikely reason. a significant bed bug infestation. Listen to the story of Montreal's library and the many, many bed bugs that are grossing people out there.
City of Westmount residents woke up to some pesky news Monday. A notice on the city website announces the temporary closure of Westmount Public Library. And officials say it goes back to last Friday. That's when an inspection found bed bugs in the adult computer section. A secondary inspection was conducted today and revealed, quote, evidence of bed bugs in other areas beyond those initially found. CTV reached out to the library and the office of Westmount Mayor Michael Stern for comment. We did not hear back in time for broadcast, but we spoke with an expert. Don Prashker is a Montreal exterminator, and he says an infestation can happen easily.
People are literally borrowing books from the library, reading those books on their bed at night till they fall asleep, putting the book down right next to them, and then waking up in the morning. And if that bed is a victim of bed bugs, that book is now going to be a victim of bed bugs.
Now, according to the City of Westmount's website, the library's closure is intended to ensure a thorough treatment of the space. Meanwhile, Prashker says there are things you can do if you've tracked bed bugs home.
Heat kills bed bugs. Whatever goes in the dryer comes out guaranteed a half an hour later, bed bug free. So sheets, pillows, blankets, anything to do with the word linen or bedding, a good half an hour in the dryer, and you can use those articles again, guaranteed without bed bugs. While your mattress is free of linen, a vacuum to vacuum the seams and just vigorously go around the whole mattress. You're doing two things. You're removing anything that could be there, but you're also visually inspecting.
It's unclear when the library will reopen, but the adjacent heritage greenhouses and Victoria Hall show no evidence of bed bugs at this time and remain open to the public.
One of my big fears is a bed bug infestation. I've never had like bed bugs hit close to home. I've never lived with someone who had them. I've never been in an apartment building that I know of that had bed bugs nearby, but I think about them way more often than I should. And this story just freaks me out. I didn't think they could live in books. I buy a lot of secondhand books.
I never thought of, well, I mean, why would you think that? They're called bed bugs, not book bugs. So
book bugs. Well, there are bookworms.
There are bookworms, right? Right.
That's grosser.
Yeah, they can be annoying for sure. I never knew that bed bugs could travel. I mean, why wouldn't they be able to? I guess the more I think about it, they're just bugs. They could travel in anything, really.
Yeah, but why would they? Like, it'd be a long route. Like the pest exterminator guy that was used as the expert in that clip said is like, people bring the book home, they lay on their bed and they read it and they fall asleep and the book's laying on the bed. So what he's suggesting is that like a bed bug would come off the bed and get in the book. Then the person would bring the book to the library, and that bed bug would have to be pregnant and or laying eggs or whatever, and then for them to get back at the library. Like, I just don't see how the infestation travels from the infected bed into the library. I feel like this has nothing to do with people bringing books to and from.
My suspicion is that it would come on, the bed bugs would have came in on somebody's clothing or like in their bag. Maybe they had a blanket in their bag or something, and they sat the bag down in the library. The bed bugs get like some kind of article that the person had on them, not necessarily a book itself.
Yeah, that seems odd. And I don't know if you knew that this had happened, but in your hometown, well, near your hometown, in Sydney, in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, near where you live, they had to close the theater down, the movie theater, for a short period of time because there was like a bed bug infestation at the movie theater.
Right.
They got in like the seats or something.
Yes, yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know how that would have happened, but I guess same kind of thing. It's just someone who has bed bugs in their house maybe brings them on their sweater or something. But I think Nova Scotia we're in the middle of like a boom of bed bugs happening, and that freaks me out.
Yeah, and I don't want that. That makes me nervous when you say that it's we're in the midst of an elevated season of bed bugs, and I don't want that. It's something that I've avoided so far in my life, but certainly
I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, me too. I'll knock as well. But I just hope that neither of us have to speak about that issue.
No. And it can happen to anyone. This library, for people who are unfamiliar with this library, it's in like a ritzy, like high-end part of Montreal. And this isn't this like sketchy inner city library kind of thing. If you look at this thing from the outside, it looks like a castle. It's like an historic library. Inside, it has the architecture that you'd expect in like an old church or something, these high vaulted ceilings. It's gorgeous in there. And that contrasted with bedbugs in the adult computer area and now being found in other parts of the library. It's just not something that I would expect. But just like how the car mechanic who's been working on cars for 40 years almost has seen it go from like a steam engine type ship to this space age working on computers car situation, people who work in the libraries, think of how much that role would have changed since we were kids. In the 80s, like a librarian would go to the library, it would be a bunch of people with their mouths shut, quietly sitting down, looking at books and reading, I guess is what most people did there. Computers came along, and then you had a lot of people going in to check the internet and check their emails, and maybe a couple kids hanging around playing on computers. But I found when you go to the library now, it is literally the Wild West. There's a library not too far from where I live. I see cops outside there, an ambulance outside there, twice a week at least, it seems to me. The library, it's ground zero for the puberty problem. I know that for sure, but it's ground zero for a lot of other social issues as well. A librarian is a tough job in 2026, just like the customer service desk at a Walmart. I think those are the two toughest jobs in this day and age.
Yeah, certainly libraries have pivoted into becoming basically community centers now, especially for people who are in between maybe homes or in between jobs or in between people that are going through a lot of problems or issues. Use the library for basic necessities. It becomes a warm place to go. It becomes a place where if you don't have a fixed address and you need to be able to access the internet and a computer and to be able to apply for jobs, and it has become more of a necessity now than ever because so much of the community and people, who are down on their luck are using the library as a way to survive. It's also a place where a lot of children go to spend their time. Like, it's not just about reading. Like, there's so many great children's programs that libraries offer that really are great places for young people to go and spend quality time doing something constructive and educational and interesting. It's not just a place where you go to read a book anymore. So
for people interested in the changing roles of libraries, there was a recent news article. I don't know what city it was. I think it was Hamilton. I think CBC did it. And it was all about the amount of police calls and overdoses and such in the local library. They compared stats, present day versus prior years, and the numbers were just startling and shocking. But we don't got to get into that on Keep Canada Weird. I think we've proved our point. The world, I think, has gotten worse in a lot of ways. In one way is that things just don't last like they used to. And that bugs me. But I'm not going to let it bug me for long. Let's take a quick break. When we get back, we'll go into our final segment. And this is going to be the WTF story, which is the segment where we highlight stories that are just so bizarre, so bonkers, so unreal that it almost seems like fiction. And this is going to be an interesting one because we're going to be catching up with something we covered almost 3 years ago. After a short break, we're going to hear again about those two fellas in Quebec that are easily Canada's most prolific sperm donors. Handsome Aaron Airport, I'm going to be taking you back through time quite a ways. I hope you remember this. In episode 117 of Keep Canada Weird, we discussed a prolific father and son sperm donor duo in Quebec. When we covered the story then, it was shortly after the release of an investigative report that found that the two men have collectively fathered about 500 children by offering sperm donations through Facebook to women who, for one reason or another, were seeking to conceive outside of Quebec's regulated fertility clinics. Do you remember this story? Because we are going back, I think, over 2 years.
Yeah, this is a ways back, and I do remember the general aspects of the story. I don't remember the finer details, but yeah, let's get back into this thing.
We're about to learn a whole bunch more. This bizarre case is back in the news again, and here's why. A woman who successfully birthed a child as a result of one of their donations claims that the duo misrepresented themselves, and she is now seeking a court injunction to prevent them from continuing to offer further donations. So let's take another look and catch up with Quebec's most prolific sperm donors.
Now, this is an unusual case for a few reasons. First off, the two men themselves are father and son, and it's unclear just how many children they have, partially because it seems they didn't count or follow up with some of the donations. Today, one of the men said he knows of 109 children that he has, but admitted there could be more. The Nouveau Info documentary put the number between the two of them around 550. Secondly, the two men are representing themselves without a lawyer. This afternoon, they had the chance to present to the judge and had some long, drawn-out explanations, with some points even the judge questioning where they were going. The lawyer for the mother, who we cannot identify, argued today the men lied about how many children they had and systematically minimized the number of sperm donations they were giving, and that for the children, it's creating major issues, including not knowing how many siblings they have and the psychological distress that can come from that. Today, one of the men admitted he did withhold information from some of the mothers and wants to continue giving sperm donations.
If they ask if the guy is my son, I always tell them the same thing. Is if somebody asks me if your kid is my son, I will not tell, and it's the same for everybody. So there is some information that is said to be not available.
You're open to keeping on donating?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm surprised, but it seems to me that there should be some kind of rule about how many people you can donate sperm to. Like, does that not create weird complications if you get to the numbers of, if you have children in the 500s? For one, if it's done in this unregulated situation, what if you had some kind of, hereditary condition and all of a sudden there's like hundreds of cases of this strange thing? Like, that'd be one risk. But also, if this is all happening in this one area or even in this one province of Canada, if you have like 500 kids, there is a significant chance that two of them end up meeting and not knowing their siblings.
Yeah, we had discussed I remember us talking about some of the issues that could arise with that when you have two people meet on a dating app and not realize, and how would they, that they're siblings.
Or what if they did one of those like DNA tests, like 23andMe, and it shows up on their response like you have 400 siblings in your province?
Yeah.
That would freak you out. I think, and that's what I think is leading to this mother filing this injunction is, she's like, whoa, I didn't realize these guys that I met on Facebook have, hundreds of kids out there. They didn't tell me about that. And we heard the father of the duo, kind of defend that, saying like, if I don't tell people unless they want me to tell people, I won't say how many I have or whether or not that's my kid. His defense to that was a little vague, much like how they described, of course, they're representing themselves, but the journalist said like some of the statements they made in court were like long and rambling, and even the judge didn't really know where they were going. It does kind of seem like these are just two really odd guys who found a little niche and they're just giving away their sperm to anyone who wants it.
Yeah, but I'm going to take the spotlight away from these two sperm degenerates, and I'm going to shine it on this woman, for example. So why on earth would somebody go to a stranger on Facebook for a sperm donation?
That surprises me too. Now, of course, we're both ignorant to this. There's something about that program that is unappealing, where these guys, what they have to offer is like, oh yeah, you need it? Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, perhaps. But going to the what could only be compared to the McDonald's of sperm donation.
That's worse than the McDonald's. This is the lady at the flea market who sells chocolate chip cookies she baked at home of sperm donation clinics.
No, it's worse than that, actually. This is a guy in a trench coat in an alleyway who's got a Coleman stove offering you a hot dog. That's the only way to compare this situation. Like, sure, I can understand the frustration probably that somebody would feel and go through trying to go through a traditional regulated sperm bank donation system. But to choose this as the option where there's so many red flags and so many risks that you're undertaking, like this individual's sperm is checked for nothing. And then you're putting it in your body and
I don't want to think about that.
Well,
part.
okay, well, we won't then. But
these guys they don't seem to be doing it as a way to get laid, which is kind of where my mind
they're not
first
getting
went.
laid. They're literally just handing over the sperm.
Which leads to the question, why are they doing this?
For
and
money.
We won't get an answer, but we're going to get closer to an answer, because the news clip we just heard was coverage of day one of this trial seeking the injunction. Things only got weirder in day two.
It was a move that caught the lawyers and judge off guard. Philippe Normand, one of the men who's fathered over 100 children, said that if he's barred from donating sperm in Quebec, he would move to another province. It came after an exchange about the area a ban would cover. Normand repeatedly asked the judge for clarity on that point, because if he's restricted from donating sperm in Quebec, he might move to Ontario. That led to the court breaking to look at the question, and the lawyers for the mother, who's bringing the injunction forward, asking for it to be widened to cover all of Canada. And that led to even more questions as to if that's even possible because of jurisdiction. This morning, Dominic Silos, the younger of the two, who's in his mid-30s and estimates he has 240 children, argued granting this injunction would infringe on his reproductive rights, and that instead of going to a costly clinic where women face certain restrictions about weight or age, he provides his service for free, a point his father also raised today, adding being a sperm donor is part of his identity.
Well, by law, we have to do it for free. We cannot sell sperm. It's illegal. Like selling blood, we are not allowed. We are only allowed to have expense, like gas expense. So we don't do it for money. We do it to have kids.
Judge Simon Chamberlain is expected to rule on the injunction on Friday morning.
So I don't know if that explains why they're doing it, but to me, reading between the lines, I think it seems like this is just like his own personal battle. It's this almost like the government can't stop me from doing it. You know, if they won't let me do it here, I'll move to another province to do it. And I think in also hearing him say that, I think this whole thing's going to end up in like a mistrial anyway, because I don't think a court in Quebec can tell him what he can and can't do in another province.
Yeah, he doesn't want his reproductive rights to be controlled.
And he's not making any money. All they can charge is
that blew my mind. Before we went into that clip, I was like, obviously it's money. He must be charging them however much he's charging, and how easy of a job for him to just ejaculate into a cup or into a Lay's potato chip bag and then staple it shut and mail it to these women. However his system is.
Yeah.
But he's not doing it for money. He's doing it purely because he's deranged.
That's what it seems to me. He says, I'm doing it to have kids. He actually said that is like, it's to have kids, but he doesn't get to meet the kids or anything.
No, he's not having kids. They're having kids. He's having just dehydration from all of the fluids he's expenses from his body on a daily basis, fathering all of these children who are just very disappointed in who their father is.
I think so, because he does come across as unhinged. In these news clips, he's outside of the courtroom. He has like a suit on, not a fancy suit, just a regular suit. But what's weird is he has a backwards hat on, and he's an older guy. He's probably 60 years old. He has a backwards hat, and his hat's really beat up and misshapen, so it just looks really sketchy. He looks like he should be pumping gas, not impregnating a significant percentage of the province of Quebec.
Yeah, I know. And we do a lot of banning on this show, so I think absolutely ban the guy from having any kind of. He shouldn't even be allowed to pee, really. I think he should be cut off from all fluids exiting his body.
The decision for this case and whether or not the courts are going to stop him from and his son from doing this in Quebec, that decision is going to be released Friday, the day this episode comes out. So if you Google Quebec sperm donor, that's probably enough, actually. That'll probably bring you to the news article to find out what the result is. But I have a feeling there's not going to be a result. They're probably going to have to delay it or end it in a mistrial or whatever the right word would be for an injunction request. Because I think if these guys are willing to leave the province, that just throws the whole thing out anyway. In any trial where you have two nuts kind of representing themselves, it never goes well. This thing is crazy. If these guys want to continue to do this, I think they're going to continue to do it. And maybe this is just a cautionary tale that you really need to be careful if you're getting sperm off of strangers via Facebook.
Yeah. It's just, I have nothing left to say on this thing. Yeah, I assume nothing will come of this. He'll continue to impregnate the entire nation of Canada. And then after that, he won't be satisfied. He'll move on to North America and then eventually the world. And then we're all going to look like a old bearded guy in a suit with a backwards ball cap.
And a bone to pick with the government who doesn't want you doing the sperm stuff on Facebook.
You can't control my reproductive rights.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have nothing else to say about this. Let's move on from this. We're getting near the end of the show. But I do want to talk about Cove Soda again. We can bookend this episode. We have the redemption of Cove Soda at the beginning of the episode, but we can talk now a little bit about where this goes next. And I'd like to also talk about what could have been. If Cove Soda and Keep Canada Weird didn't get at the table, the next step in this thing was actually going to get pretty ugly. We'll talk about that. Actually, let's talk about that right now. I wouldn't have thought to do this, but we have a listener who, in the throes of the boycott, gave us an idea of what our next move should be. There's a correspondent from PEI who thinks we probably could have got Cove Soda to pay for some vacations. Listen to this.
Hi there, Jordan and Aaron. I'm one of your correspondents in PEI, and I think you guys are missing a great opportunity with the Cove Soda debate. I think you guys should pull some of the previous tales that you've talked about, contact the news, and get Cove Soda to pay for a vacation due to the distress that you guys are facing while you wait for this answer about whether or not they are going to acknowledge your existence. Just saying, I think it's a great opportunity. Get some free vacation money like all the many other Canadians across the country have attempted.
It's funny the trends you pick up when you follow weird Canadian news stories. And yes, it is a trend that people who have problems with companies, whatever it is, it often ends in them on the news talking about how they want their airfare paid for or something about a vacation covered. I don't know if we could have spun it in a way that we could have challenged Ryan with paying for vacations.
Yeah, I wish I had heard that voicemail before we talked to Ryan on the phone. It might have motivated me to try and get a vacation out of Ryan, but
that would have been a tough sell.
Oh well.
I think
hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, I think we're lucky to get a case of pop for all the work we've done. What should we do now? Now that the water has flowed under the bridge, the hatchet is buried deep underground, our love for Cove Soda and our camaraderie with Cove is now stronger than it's ever been. What should listeners do to get involved?
Well, go out and buy Cove Soda and also support our other friend of the show, Robin's Donuts, if you're lucky enough to live near one.
I don't think I realized how great of a Canadian success story that company is. I love the brand now more than ever. So I'm glad, like, that whole experience of complaining about Cove, not getting the emails, boycotting them. The founder, the owner of the company, hears some bizarre podcast is boycotting them, and he's willing to come on the show and talk about it. Because we could have been weirdos. He didn't know who we were.
No. We could have been rampant sperm donors, just using Cove cans. Anyway, I'm not going to continue.
Yeah, he's like, no.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, we just got things on the right path with Cove. I'm not going to paint a picture of of what I was about to paint.
I don't even want to say it, but yeah,
let's just end it there. Actually, I think my mind is going in crazy places after that sperm story.
Listeners of Keep Canada Weird, I promise you, the whole Cove story arc was all natural. That wasn't something set up. So don't email us saying, this was all an ad and we fell for it and you wasted our time. That was a sincere, honest thing that played out over those few weeks. If you have anything to say about Cove Soda, go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Share a special drink with us, especially if it's Cove, because for the next few weeks, that's what we're going to be drinking in a special drink segment, thanks to their generous donations. And if you have anything else to say about anything we discussed tonight, or if even you just have something you want to get off your chest, or if you want to whisper to us, go to thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Let's wrap this up, though. Handsome Aaron Airport, until next time.
Jordan, bus stop, backhoe, Bonaparte, until next time.
I'm going to go give my furnace a hug, because this house that I'm in now, I do have an aging furnace as well. I think my furnace is about 30 years old. I have a feeling that furnace in my back room is good for another 39 years. I'll give him a kiss tonight.
Yeah, I give him a nice kiss. And Jordan, until next time, I like to think of myself as a metaphorical furnace in your life. And right now I'm in my mid-40s, but someday I'll be 69.
And you probably want a kiss tonight.
I'd like a kiss, and I promise that you're not going to replace me with some, younger, more efficient furnace that you think keeps Canada weirder than I do.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. Now, if any one of you listening want to get more involved in what we're doing, we need all the correspondence we can get. So if something weird happens in your area, or if you have any thoughts on anything we discussed tonight, let us know about it. The best way to reach us is by using the voice recorder that can be found at thecanadiangothic.com/contact. Now, I'm going to start wrapping up the episode, but before we part, let us thank a few people. First of all, Aaron and I want to give a big thank you to all the correspondents who contributed to this episode. If your voice message was aired on the show, go back to thecanadiangothic.com/contact and fill out the form to claim your swag pack and Keep Canada Weird badge. We'll happily get it right out to you. Next, a big shout out to Unicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data, who provides the outro version of O Canada that you're about to hear. And then lastly, but most importantly, we have a massive thank you to every one of you listening, as without your interest and your support, this work would be impossible. And for any one of you out there who want to support the show financially and get more out of the show at the same time, please consider the premium feed. Our premium feed subscription costs just a couple bucks a month, and that money will fund the creation of new episodes. But the premium feed will also give you those episodes early, give them to you ad-free, and give you access to a full back catalog of Keep Canada Weird episodes and bonuses. You can go premium at thecanadiangothic.com/subscribe. And even if the premium feed isn't for you, you can still support the show by simply sharing episodes on social media. That's free, and it's a big help. So until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and please keep Canada weird.
And keep Canada weird. Please keep Canada weird.